So in my video where I talked about men's rights, I figured it would get some attention from the meninist and anti-feminist crowd, and oh boy did it. I woke up to a flurry of hateful comments and a ton of dislikes today because people were saying my definition of feminism was all wrong, that I was freaking out over a shirt, that meninism wasn't real, and I had been trolled, all because my video gained the attention of a cartoon bear. His viewers began spamming my video en masse, spewing hateful comments and not contributing anything at all to the conversation that I wanted to have in the comment section. But then I watched the video made by said bear, and he actually had a reasonable discussion with my video. While there were a few things that he said that I didn't quite agree with, he did bring up the Duluth model, and in yesterday's video I said, when we discuss domestic violence, it's often assumed that the domestic violence victims are women, but 1 in 4 men are victims of domestic violence at some point in their lives. And that is not meant to downplay on the domestic violence of women. It's supposed to add to the conversation that anyone can be a victim and everyone deserves access to protection. And now I believe that the Duluth model is actually contributing to that problem. These are direct quotes from the Duluth model website. Since the early 1980s, Duluth has been an innovator in ways to hold batterers accountable and keep their victims safe. Sounds good. They go on to say that it's an ever-evolving way for a community to work together to end domestic violence. Again, sounds good. Using the Duluth model approach, they have taken the blame off of the victim and placed the accountability for abuse on the offender. Good. Has shared policies, procedures for holding offenders accountable and keeping victims safe. Good. Prioritizes the voices of women who experience battering in the creation of these procedures. But what about the men? It goes on to say that the coordinated community response attempts to secure adequate resources to respond to those cases, including a men's nonviolence program. And looking at the website more, it's very women and children focused, but it makes the man into a predator and perpetrator in 99% of these cases. The site asks, why is he violent? And can he change? There's a workbook you can get titled Violent No More, Helping Men End Domestic Abuse. They even offer training on creating a process of change for men who batter, but nothing about women who batter. They offer help for women who have been arrested or incarcerated, but it continues to perpetuate that men are the violent perpetrators. I finally found a page where they talk about women who use domestic violence, but they say that it's under different circumstances than men who use domestic violence. They say men who use domestic violence, it's learned and reinforced, but when women use domestic violence, it's usually because they're being abused by men. It seems that the Duluth model is proclaiming that it's about the psychology of abuse, but there's nothing that I'm even seeing that's coming close to using psychology in management and treatment of abuse. The Duluth model operates under the assumption that men are always the violent perpetrators of domestic violence and seems to ignore that a lot of domestic violence is reciprocal. So thank you, Baring, for bringing up the subject of the Duluth model in a calm and rational conversational way. I do believe that if we all contribute to the conversation that men are treated unfairly when it comes to domestic violence, then it will change. Is feminism currently a perfectly working ideology? No. But have the actions of feminist movements helped men? Yes. And that will be in tomorrow's video. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me tomorrow.